Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin. And do you know what? Now that the managerial situation has been done and dusted, the focus is definitely on the transfer market business. Who's going to leave? Who's going to come in? It's Enzo Maresca. It is going to be a different style. It is going to require certain individuals, certain type of characteristics in the team. So look at this particular picture. Look at this particular news. The first news out of many, many news that's going to be popping off over this transfer window. You're probably wondering, Ms., who is this brother? Even I don't know who this particular brother is. So let's find out who this guy is. You can see that he's from Villarreal. You can see the logo there. So it goes something like this, the news. Chelsea have started looking at goalkeepers already and have contacted the representatives of Filip Jörgensen. This is coming from Nizar Kinsella and BBC Sport. So look, without a shadow of a doubt, I think one of the first main components for Enzo Maresca to kickstart the Chelsea new system, it will heavily focus on the goalkeeper. A lot of people might be thinking, oh, it's the striker, it's maybe a defender, it's maybe a winger. No. Everything starts for Enzo Maresca from the goalkeeper position. And your goalkeeper better be very, very good on the ball. None of these hesitant, indecisive moments from the goalkeeper. No, it cannot be like that. The goalkeeper almost has to be as good as probably an outfield player. Probably has to be as good as a midfielder, to be honest. So look, the goalkeepers that we have, and we've got a plethora of goalkeepers. We've got Kepa coming back. Yeah, no chance. Even though Kepa's ball distribution, he's very comfortable on the ball. And it could be tested. However, you have to be equally very good as a shot stopper as well. And we know Kepa Arrizabalaga is simply not that particular goalkeeper. So he's out and we have to find a home for him. So not only we need to bring in a keeper, we need to get rid of quite a few of our keepers. Robert Sanchez is someone who's also comfortable with the ball in terms of distribution, but then there are times we've seen last season that ended that even Robert Sanchez, some of his distribution can be a little bit erratic. And from a shot-stopping point of view as well, Robert Sanchez can be suspect. So he probably needs to move on as well, because at the moment we can honestly say with our hand on our heart that Petrovic is probably a tad bit better than Robert Sanchez. And Petrovic himself, look, from a shot-stopping point of view, Petrovic is much better. There are times where Petrovic has had some issues last season. However, I do feel that from a shot-stopping point of view, he's somewhat reliable. From a distribution point of view, I think he needs a lot more development. And he's a particular player, is a particular goalkeeper that we definitely can be patient with so that he can develop. However, he's probably not going to be ready for Enzo Maresca. So now the question is, who? Who do we get as a goalkeeper? Look, I love the FC Porto goalkeeper, Diogo Costa. He is sensational on the feet. He's sensational with his distribution, and he's equally magnificent when it comes to shot stopping. However, he's going to cost a lot of money, and I don't think our hierarchy, our board, our owners want to go down that path where you have to pay a lot of money for a goalkeeper. So I understand we should be looking at a high quality goalkeeper, but at the same time, I want our scouting network to find that gem of a goalkeeper. In this particular position, you saw what Spurs did with Vicario. Vicario was apparently a Serie B goalkeeper, and look at him now. He's very good on the ball, and he's a very, very good shot stopper as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, yes, the goalkeeper position is going to be up for contention under Enzo Maresca. This brother, look, I've got no clue. So far, the information I'm seeing online about this particular goalkeeper, Filip Jörgensen, is that he's quite meaty. He's quite mediocre. There's a lot of goals that Villarreal conceded, but I mean, look, might not be specifically on him. It could also be defensive issues as well, but I'm not getting a lot of information online that he's a particular goalkeeper that we need to go to. Let me know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section. Which goalkeeper would you be going for? Do you stick with what we already have? Next up, Conor Gallagher is understood to have been one of the reasons for Mauricio Pochettino's departure as Chelsea manager, as he did not want to sell the midfielder. I mean, this is coming from Miguel Delaney. I'm fully in the belief that Mauricio Pochettino's reluctance in getting rid of Conor Gallagher is definitely one of the reasons why they've parted ways, why Pochettino and the board parted ways. Pochettino, look, it definitely would have come as a massive surprise for the board, and definitely was a surprise for us when the season started in the preseason and how heavily Mauricio Pochettino was relying on Conor Gallagher. No one expected that. Everyone thought that he's going to be utilizing your Enzo Fernandez's, your Caicedo, but later on we quickly found out that why he's doing it, because we might have forgotten, because Mauricio Pochettino wasn't there in the Premier League, he was in PSG, but we might have forgotten his time at Spurs, that he loves a midfielder of the caliber of Gallagher. That skill set is something that he absolutely needs in his midfield. So look, as the season went on, we saw that Gallagher became vice captain and he became a very prominent member, and he started developing as well. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's actually was developing into a very decent type of a midfielder, and he was probably one of the better players all throughout the season. But I know under Enzo Maresca, I feel like this guy definitely doesn't have any future. And the fact that this is one of the reasons why the board parted ways with Pochettino, there is no way Maresca could have any sort of say in this matter. Conor Gallagher will be let go of, ladies and gentlemen, whether we like it or not. Aston Villa looking at Conor Gallagher as they attempt to boost the squad ahead of next season's Champions League campaign, with Chelsea open to doing business due to profit and sustainability rules. Look, quite a few teams that are after Conor Gallagher, not just Aston Villa. I believe Newcastle's name's been in there. West Ham's name's been popping around as well. Look, he'll have suitors. How much can we get out of Conor Gallagher? That will be the question. Conor Gallagher has shown that he's a very, very decent midfielder. And the way Premier League they move in terms of how much we get scammed at times, there's no reason why Conor Gallagher shouldn't be worth somewhere in excess of 50 million. But the issue is that he only has 1 year left in his contract, and that doesn't really put us in any negotiation power. So watch this space. In regards to Conor Gallagher, I do believe he will move on from Chelsea Football Club. I'll be very surprised if Conor Gallagher ends up getting a contract extension at Chelsea. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Borussia Dortmund will approach Chelsea after the Champions League final to negotiate for Ian Maatsen. The first proposal will be under the 35 million clause value, but with different structure. Look, bottom line, Borussia Dortmund, if you want this particular player, I just hope and pray that there is an opportunity for him to come back to Chelsea. I really rate Ian Maatsen a lot, always have rated him. Very annoyed that Pochettino didn't use him because of his height. I think someone like Enzo Maresca could benefit from a player like Ian Maatsen, who I fully believe not only he can overlap, but he can definitely underlap and invert as a left back. Inverting is a big part of Maresca's philosophy, it seems like. We'll see whether he tweaks any of that at Chelsea Football Club. But I feel like a player like Ian Maatsen has a lot of value and could potentially do very well under Enzo Maresca. We'll see whether this actually happens. But at the moment, the first proposal will be under 35 million. I'm sorry. Borussia Dortmund, no. You want this player? That is exactly what you need to pay. How you pay in terms of payment structure, you do what needs to be done, but you better pay minimum. Because for me, 35 million is a bargain. This guy's a Champions League finalist. He's going to be in the final. He could potentially be a Champions League winner. 35 million, and he's a very, very important player for Borussia Dortmund. No. 35 million itself is a bargain and a half. Ian Maatsen, I kid you not, if he was already a Dortmund player, Dortmund would be selling Ian Maatsen for minimum 60 million. Minimum. Why should we let him go for less than 35? It just doesn't make sense. Ian Maatsen on his future, I still have a contract, and after the summer, we're going to decide where my future is going to be. So I don't know. When Pochettino was there, it looked like Ian Maatsen's father. He came out publicly saying that, look, we don't want any part with that club. That club only thinks about money. And now all of a sudden, new managers on the horizon, and Ian Maatsen is sort of saying that, look, we'll decide what to do with my future. At the end of the day, he's still a Chelsea player. So we make the decision. So yeah, I know I came here to Dortmund to prove myself that I can play on the highest level and the highest stage, and that's what I'm doing. So kudos to Ian Maatsen for having a very, very successful loan spell at Borussia Dortmund and been a key player for Borussia Dortmund. Ian Maatsen on Chelsea, no, not yet spoken to them. They came a couple of times to Dortmund to just see how I am, and they're happy with my development. This is good. I'm glad that Chelsea representatives have gone to Dortmund to just have a look at how he is, keeping in touch with him. I really like that, not leaving him in the dark, giving him value, which is absolutely important. Let me know your thoughts in regards to Ian Maatsen. What would you guys do? Would you sell him? Obviously, financial fair play is an issue for us. Pure profit is something that we are driving for. But I think if there's a way to keep Ian Maatsen, let's do that. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea will decide on Andre Santos' future for the next season with Enzo Maresca very soon. The new Chelsea manager will be involved in decisions on Omari Hutchinson, Andre Santos, and many more. Look, these two players, very, very interesting. The way Enzo Maresca plays, and a lot of people talk about the Harry Winks position deep. I think that's something definitely Andre Santos can emulate. Someone like Andre Santos, I rate very, very highly, and he's done, once again, he's another player who's gone on loan to Strasbourg in the second half of last season, and has done very, very well. Now, there's two ways to look at it. You can either keep Andre Santos at Chelsea Football Club, and if we are playing in the Conference League, you can potentially hand out some minutes to him and ensure that he develops in-house. Or you can potentially send him on Strasbourg loan again for the entire season and see exactly how he keeps developing with consistent minutes. So both options are quite viable. Both options are quite good, in my opinion. I would like to see him play for Chelsea Football Club. Omari Hutchinson is someone who's honestly drastically improved. And a particular player that I would like to see in the preseason and see what he can bring for Enzo Maresca. If not, he's already voiced his opinion that he would like to go back to Ipswich for one more season on loan and have a season in the Premier League. And if now Kieran McKenna, the Ipswich manager, doesn't leave, it bodes well for Omari Hutchinson. We'll see what happens there. And I think Omari Hutchinson, what we've done is we've triggered an extension with him as well. So a contract extension, which will take him to 2026, I believe, ensuring that we don't lose any value with Omari Hutchinson. Look, me personally, as I said, I would like to see him in the preseason, see how he does. And if we do end up getting another right-sided winger in the likes of Olise, then fair enough, we can send Omari Hutchinson on a loan to Ipswich to see how things are going there. And don't forget, in the future, we're going to get a lot more right-sided wingers coming in. So does Omari Hutchinson actually have a future at Chelsea Football Club? I'm not entirely sure about that, but I do think he has developed immensely at Ipswich. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea have been tracking Ronald Aruajo, who could leave Barcelona this summer. So look, as I said, goalkeeper, that's a big, big situation for Enzo Maresca. I think for centre-back as well. Some of the centre-backs that we have, I don't know whether they will completely fit Enzo Maresca's mold, the way he wants to play. Obviously, we know Thiago Silva's leaving. He's already left. And Trevor Chalobah potentially for pure profit is going to be sold, which leaves Levi Colwill. I think Levi Colwill could potentially have a very, very good stint with Enzo Maresca. What happens to Badiashile? What happens to Desarci? Wesley Fofana? Hopefully he stays fit. For God's sake, can we get an entire season from Wesley Fofana? Wesley Fofana is the exact type of defender that I think Enzo Maresca will like. Robust, pacey, good recovery pace, 1v1 defending. That's exactly what Enzo Maresca will be looking at. Between Buddy Shield and Desasi, a lot of people say that Desasi's characteristics kind of match with what Vestergaard, I believe, had in Leicester. But then again, I don't want to just copy and paste what happened in Leicester and then just put Chelsea players on top of it. I don't think it's going to work that way. I think Enzo Maresca will assess exactly the kind of players we have, and then he'll come up with a plan best suited for us. So, look, Ronald Aruajo, I don't mind him. He's a very good defender. I've watched Barcelona quite a bit of times. I think he's a solid defender. There is obviously injury cloud around him as well. And there are some bozo moments here and there. You know, we saw Ilkay Gundogan publicly stating what Aruajo did in the Champions League quarterfinals, I think, against PSG. So, and it was a clear mistake from Aruajo as well. And Ilkay Gundogan was very open and public about it. And these are the moments that you may get from Ronald Aruajo every now and then. I've seen him make those mistakes, but overall, he is a solid defender. I wouldn't mind, but at the same time, I don't want to deal with Barcelona, man. They're just so difficult to deal with Barcelona. And I feel like if there was a defender that I wanted from Barcelona, it would be Kubasi, the young defender. He looks unbelievable. Let me know your thoughts about Ronald Aruajo. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Enzo Maresca will not have control over transfers, but he will have plenty of input and has already discussed potential targets with Chelsea Chiefs. I would have been very surprised if he hasn't discussed all of this stuff in the interview. So I'm not completely shocked by this news. This is exactly what needed to happen in the interview. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? Who are potentially might come in, and not necessarily the names, but the profile. So look, I'm absolutely okay with it. This is the modern day head coach's role now. This is the structure that most top clubs are trying to emulate down the track. Have a board of directors that really control everything about the football, and then you have the head coach that really look after the development, the training, and the tactical side of the team. But he will definitely have a say in terms of the type of characteristics, the type of profile of players that he wants in his team, which will basically enable him to play the way he wants to play. So yeah, I'm quite okay with that. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to go out there and scout and present names. Give the profile, and I fully expect our scouting team, who've done a decent job. Let's not forget, Joe Shields leads that, and he's been doing a fantastic job in bringing in some really talented players. So I fully back the recruitment team to do that for Enzo Maresca. Chelsea believe their current squad is strong enough for a top 4 Premier League finish. Look, this isn't too far-fetched either. The team is strong enough. The team definitely is. It has talent, abundance of talent to be a top 4 team. There's no doubt about that. My only issue is just because you have talent, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to actually be able to execute all of that in the upcoming season. It is a new manager. It is an inexperienced manager, and it is an inexperienced team, which is a very, very young, youthful team as well. So that is where my issue is. Can both of them marry together and actually produce some form of fantastic football, which culminates to a great result? Or do we need to be patient? And this is why I'm taking the patient route. I know a lot of you guys will be saying, no, Champions League, top 4, it's a must. I get it. I hear it. But I don't want to put that and then hurt myself consequently. I'd rather have a set expectation that, look, if you can come in the top 6, anything below that, you're going to be criticized critically. But bare minimum, the squad should be in the top 6. And beyond that it will be fantastic. Of course, you push for beyond that. In theory, it looks like it should be able to be done. But in reality, can this actually happen? We'll see. We'll see when the season starts. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very wonderful little note from Kyle Walker. Check this out. Kyle Walker, Reece has everything. It could make the complete right back. If I could make the complete right back, it would be him. He's got my strength, Hakimi's pace, Cancelo's technical ability, Trent's passing, and Carvajal's mentality. That is probably the highest order of compliment that you can receive from an opposition player, Reece James. And there is absolutely no lies spotted in this comment from Kyle Walker. Reece James has it all. The only issue with Reece James is he can't be on the field often enough. If this guy manages to stay fit this upcoming entire season, I'm telling you, we are going to see a beast, a monster on that right side, whether he tucks in, inverts, comes into midfield, whether he overlaps, whatever it is. This guy's got it all. The only thing I'll say is the Carvajal's mentality part. Sure, he is strong mentally. The only thing I'll say is, Reece James, cut out those antics that you have. Every now and then lashing onto players, getting yourselves a red card. That is something Reece James has to eradicate away from his game. If you can do that, take that emotional side away at times, this guy, he has it all. We saw he came in and the assist he produced for Nicholas Jackson, oh my God, it looked like he was never away. So stay fit and the rest will, I'm pretty sure, fall into place. Big compliment from Kyle Walker. Says Fabregas will not be joining Chelsea, deemed too early for head coach role, and he does not want to leave Como for an assistant role at Chelsea. I like that, man. Stay at Como. He's actually an assistant manager in Como. So stay at Como, be an assistant manager there, work yourselves up to be maybe a manager one day of Como, and then take it from there. It's too early to come to Chelsea. Way too early. Learn your traits. See how it is at a team that is not competing at the, against some of the big boys in that league, and see the struggles. See the different types of players that he has to come across. Build that repertoire. And then one day, maybe, just one day, he may be ready for Chelsea Football Club. Now, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to end with some Chelsea women's news as well. Welcome to the greatest club in the world, Sonia Bompastor. Hopefully I pronounced that right, Bompastor. She, obviously we know, ladies and gentlemen, Emma Hayes has left Chelsea women's team. She's pursuing a new career endeavor now. I believe with the US national team. I could be wrong there. So that has left an open space in the Chelsea women's coaching team. And now we see this particular individual, Sonia Bompastor, who is rated as one of the best, if not the best, in terms of women's manager at the moment, coming from Lyon. So look, big news. Hopefully the standards continue high from the women's point of view. And look, it's crazy how the women's side, they lost Emma Hayes and they're bringing in the next best possible option. I just wish it was the same thing for the men's side, but we'll see what happens. As everyone says, the common dialogue that most Chelsea fans say now is, we'll see. Time will tell. So ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, everyone, take care. See ya.